Hello, I'm Essay, your AI essayist. Please note that all content, audio and video in this presentation are AI generated. As AI can sometimes produce inaccuracies, I encourage you to verify any factual information presented. With that in mind, let's begin.
The year 1937 witnessed the publication of Theodosius Dobzhansky's Genetics and the Origin of Species, a work that fundamentally reshaped our comprehension of evolutionary biology. This book, a cornerstone of what would become known as the modern synthesized the burgeoning field of genetics with the established framework of Darwinian evolution. It was a pivotal moment, a culmination of decades of scientific inquiry, and a harbinger of the future of biological thought. Its influence reverberates through the corridors of academia to this very day, continuously informing our understanding of the natural world. Prior to Dobzhansky's seminal work, evolutionary biology faced a significant schism. On one side stood the proponents of Mendelian genetics, who meticulously studied the mechanisms of inheritance. They understood that genes, the fundamental units of heredity, segregate and recombine, leading to variation within populations. However, they had difficulties reconciling this understanding with the gradualism inherent in Darwinian evolution, which posited that species evolve slowly through the accumulation of small, favorable variations. On the other side were the evolutionary biologists, who, while accepting the broad tenets of natural selection, struggled to explain how heritable variation arose and was maintained. They were often reliant on the concept of blending inheritance, a model that, if accepted, would erode variation with each generation. This division, a chasm between the experimental and the theoretical, hindered progress. Dobzhansky, a Ukrainian-American geneticist with a remarkable ability to unify disparate ideas, bridged this gap. His central thesis in Genetics and the Origin of Species argued that evolution, as seen by Darwin, operates primarily through changes in the frequencies of genes within populations. He demonstrated that genetic variation, arising from mutations and recombination, provides the raw material upon which natural selection acts. He skillfully integrated these concepts. He underscored the importance of understanding populations, rather than merely individual organisms, when studying evolution. This population genetic approach, coupled with an appreciation for the role of gene flow, genetic drift, and mutation, provided a powerful framework for comprehending how species adapt and diverse. The book's core argument centers around the concept of the gene pool, the total collection of genes within a population. Dobzhansky elucidated how changes in the gene pool over time, driven by natural selection, lead to evolutionary change. He emphasized that natural selection does not necessarily always lead to the perfect organism. It acts on existing variation, frequently constrained by historical contingencies and environmental factors. Dobzhansky meticulously detailed the evolutionary forces that produce population genetic change. He explored the role of mutation, the alteration of the genetic material, as the ultimate source of new variation. He then examined the processes of genetic drift, the random fluctuation of gene frequencies, particularly in small populations. He discussed gene flow, the movement of genes between populations, and its ability to both homogenize and diversify populations. Crucially, he explained how these processes interact with natural selection to shape the evolutionary trajectory of a species. One of Dobzhansky's most significant contributions was his exploration of the concept of speciation, the formation of new species. He advocated for the biological species concept, for which he held a conviction that species are groups of actually or potentially interbreeding populations, which are reproductively isolated from other such groups. He recognized the importance of reproductive isolation mechanisms, such as geographic barriers, behavioral differences, and genetic incompatibilities, in preventing gene flow between populations and allowing them to diverge. He details how these mechanisms evolve, leading to the formation of distinct species. The study of reproductive isolation, a key topic in evolutionary biology, owes much to Dobzhansky's work. The impact of genetics and the origin of species was immediate and transformative. It provided a coherent and elegant synthesis of genetics and evolution, resolving the long-standing conflict. This synthesis, later known as the modern synthesis or neo-Darwinism, became the dominant paradigm in evolutionary biology. Scientists in many disciplines embraced Dobzhansky's arguments. The book profoundly impacted the development of population genetics. For example, the study of allele frequencies, the relative proportions of different versions of a gene in a population, became a central focus of research. Ecologists began to incorporate evolutionary principles into their studies of ecosystems. Systematists, who classify organisms, began to utilize genetic data to understand relationships between species. Paleontologists gained new insight into fossil records. The influence of genetics and the origin of species extended far beyond purely scientific circles. It was widely read and discussed. Its publication coincided with a period of growing public awareness and acceptance of evolutionary theory. Dobzhansky, a gifted communicator, played a crucial role in popularizing evolutionary ideas, explaining complex concepts in a manner accessible to both scientists and the general public. His work helped to dispel misconceptions and promote a broader understanding of the natural world. The book's publication faced early criticism. The application of population genetics concepts was a nascent field. Some biologists argued that the processes described by Dobzhansky might only account for minor variations within populations, rather than large-scale evolutionary changes. Others questioned the feasibility of applying laboratory-based genetic studies to the complexities of nature. However, these critiques, while valuable, ultimately served to refine, rather than refute, Dobzhansky's work. Through further research and increasingly sophisticated tools, evolutionary biologists showed that the mechanisms described in genetics and the origin of species could explain phenomena at all levels of biological organization. Dobzhansky's intellectual debts were many, and his work represented a synthesis of diverse influences. He drew heavily on the work of Ronald Fisher, who, in his 1930 book The Genetical Theory of Natural Selection, developed many of the mathematical models that describe the action of natural selection on genetic variation. Dobzhansky also incorporated the insights of Sewell Wright, who emphasized the importance of genetic drift and population structure in evolution. J.B.S. Haldane's contributions to population genetics, particularly his work on the mathematical analysis of selection, were also very influential. These three scientists, Fisher, Wright, and Haldane, are often considered the founding fathers of population genetics. Dobzhansky built his model on their foundation. Finally, he also acknowledged the profound influence of Charles Darwin. Dobzhansky's work could be seen as a modern extension of Darwin's ideas, incorporating the knowledge of the time. The book itself has influenced countless subsequent works. Ernst Mayr, a close associate of Dobzhansky, expanded on his ideas about speciation, articulating the concept of allopatric speciation, the formation of new species via geographic isolation. George Gaylord Simpson, a paleontologist, adopted Dobzhansky's ideas to interpret the fossil record, demonstrating that the patterns of evolution observed in the fossil record are consistent with the neo-Darwinian synthesis. The work inspired the development of molecular evolution, which has revolutionized the field. The study of DNA and RNA sequences provided evolutionary biologists with an unprecedented wealth of data. These data, directly informed by Dobzhansky's concepts, have been used to reconstruct the evolutionary relationships among species, to understand the rates of evolution, and to investigate the genetic basis of adaptation. The ongoing research continues to refine and expand upon Dobzhansky's original insights. The enduring legacy of Dobzhansky's genetics and the origin of species is undeniable. It provided a framework that remains central to our understanding of evolution. It synthesized genetics and evolutionary biology. It offered a powerful framework for understanding the processes of speciation and adaptation. Its impact on biology and beyond is immeasurable. His famous declaration, "Nothing in biology makes sense except in the light of evolution," encapsulates the book's central argument. He demonstrated that evolution is the unifying principle of biology. He made an impact that continues to guide and inform modern research, providing a foundation for future generations. His work serves as proof of the transformative power of scientific synthesis, the ability to integrate disparate ideas into a coherent and comprehensive whole. The book established his status as a pioneer in the field. Dobzhansky, with this work, reshaped our understanding of the natural world, and his impact continues to resonate even today. The book is a testament to the enduring power of ideas. Dobzhansky's contributions are etched in the annals of scientific history.
We really appreciate you tuning in to this AI-powered presentation. Our goal is to push the boundaries of AI in content creation, and your input is invaluable. If there's a particular subject you'd like to see us tackle next, or if you have suggestions on how we could fine-tune our AI's creative prompts, please don't hesitate to leave your ideas in the comments section. We're excited to bring you more unique content very soon.